And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome everyone to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what you get in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It'll bring you to a website with a map of the continental U.S., Hawaii and Alaska to the lower left, and tabs for the territories. If you point and click anywhere on this map, you'll get a very specific gridded forecast for anywhere in the nation, which includes specific watches, warnings, and advisories. And there's all sorts of additional weather information you can find on this site as well, including some climate information. And you wanted to know, like, what was the high temperature the other day, or what's the averages for a given location, you can find that. Well, looking here at Alaska, where we've seen a pattern shift that started this past weekend, and it's continuing through this week and will go into next week. North Pacific lows are tracking back up now into the Gulf of Alaska and also pulling back toward the Bering Sea. So that's where the more active weather is going to be, especially southern parts of the state, Panhandle, all along the Gulf Coast and westward across the Alaska Peninsula into the Aleutians. We're not seeing any really big major storms, but enough to have impactful weather here and there. And on top of that, we're going to have a building ridge of high pressure bringing some warmer air over southern and southeast parts of the state. That ridge axis will set up over the Panhandle and up toward the Alcan border. And so that's going to allow for warmer temperatures with above normal precipitation over southern and southeast portions of the state. Of astronomical note tonight, there's a potential for a geomagnetic storm because of an increase in solar wind. So there may be a potential to see the northern lights where skies are clear. Take a peek if you're fortunate enough to have clear skies. Last quarter moon does occur on Thursday, and a week from Thursday will be the new moon. So a quick check of some of the FAA webcams across the state. On this Wednesday afternoon, New Exit clear and cold, 22 below zero. We've seen some readings down around 25 below zero, even during the middle of the day there. Savunga, there in St. Lawrence Island out in the northern Bering, under blizzard warnings until through Thursday afternoon. This also includes Gamble, which is actually having stronger winds than Savunga. Light snow and blowing snow at Savunga. Temperature at 7 degrees, and Gamble's getting wind gusts as high as 50 to near 60 miles an hour. So can't even get a camera to come up with the images there, but I'm sure they're worse given those stronger winds. Homer enjoying partly sunny skies at times this Wednesday afternoon. You can see the spit here, and temperature 43 degrees on the mild side. Across the Gulf, over at Wrangell, some light rain and fog, 37. And the areas of the Panhandle are going to see wetter, more active weather here coming up here to close out the week due to a series of low pressures and fronts that are going to be impacting this area all along the Gulf. But as far as the warnings and advisories that we have in effect now, there is a winter weather advisory into Thursday afternoon for Point Lay down through Point Hope for some gusty winds creating some blowing, drifting snow. More importantly, the blizzard warning remains in effect for St. Lawrence Island, including Gamble and Savunga through Thursday afternoon. Strong north winds will cause considerable blowing and drifting snow at times. Plus, we have an area of mainly light snow working its way across there, not looking at so much in the way of heavy snowfall, but just the blowing and drifting and reduced visibilities. So on the satellite imagery, early this morning into this afternoon, we've had one area of low pressure bring in moisture and front across the Panhandle up into northwest Canada. There's yet another low center here with another front arcing ahead of it. That's going to be the next system that pushes into the Panhandle as we go through later tonight and during the day on, I should say Thursday into Thursday night and Friday. And then back out here across the Bering, we have a lingering area of weaker low pressure and also just kind of a lot of stratus, and including some areas of snow showers or mixed rain and snow showers that are impacting the Aleutian chain up into the Alaska Peninsula. So late tonight into early Thursday morning, here's the low with the occluded front that's going to bring in the next batch of precipitation across the Panhandle, especially as we get into Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, early Friday. The initial low and wave low pressure is weakened, and then we still have This was a low that came up through a similar path a couple of days ago that's now going to be located north of the central Aleutians as we get into Thursday afternoon. And the other low is just taking its sweet time, just kind of spinning and gradually working its way back toward the north and west. But this frontal system will push up into the Panhandle, and it will also, it's off of the Washington, Oregon coast, will push inland as well, gradually speaking. But again, this is just allowing the door for milder air to come northward with more in the way of moisture. That's why the extended forecast into next week is calling for warmer temperatures than normal and above normal precipitation for especially the southern and southeast parts of the mainland, back in through the Panhandle and all along the Gulf Coast. So yet another low will be coming out, lifting up toward the Panhandle on Friday. We have yet another system down here that's going to initially head a bit southeastward, but there'll be another little low impulse, rotate around, and so it just keeps this thing going. Meanwhile, we have a couple of low pressures out over the Alaska Peninsula back toward the western Aleutians, and these features will just keep showery weather going. Snow showers in the colder air, scattered snow showers, and then south of these troughs and along the Aleutian chain up into the Alaska Peninsula, scattered rain and snow showers mixed will be the rule. And looking ahead into Saturday here, so you have that other low and another front pulling back up toward the Gulf, bringing additional precipitation along the Gulf Coast and especially the Panhandle for the early weekend. So temperatures tonight still quite cold. We could see a few lows down around 25 below zero here, North Slope, Arctic Coast, 25 below the forecast low at Kaktovik. We find single digits with brisk winds through the Bering Strait, and especially there on the north side of St. Lawrence Island, where that blizzard warning will be in effect through Thursday afternoon. Single digits lows coming up through the middle Yukon Valley and up through the upper Tanana Valley. A few spots could still be near zero there. And then across most of the Panhandle, lows tonight will be above freezing with the exception of maybe Skagway up toward, once you get up in elevation there around Chilkoot and White Passes. But out here across areas of South Central will dip below freezing, Anchorage Bowl, Mat-Su Valley, so there could be some icy spots. Thursday afternoon, though, we get high temperatures back up above freezing. Talkeetna and the Mat-Su Valley, Anchorage Bowl, certainly places like Homer and Kodiak City will have highs in the lower 40s. We could see mid-40s here along the outer and southern portions of the Panhandle, but again, you're going to also have, with that push of milder and that front coming in, there's going to be more in the way of rain, snow, of course, in the higher elevations of the coastal mountains, and then going down along the Alaska Peninsula. Highs upper 30s, maybe near 40 as you get out toward Dutch Harbor on Alaska. And on Friday morning, not quite as cold, but still sub-zero temperatures across the North Slope and along the Arctic coast in the 15 to 20 below range. Still some single digits below zero, Yukon Flats, and otherwise single digit lows extending down the upper portion of the, say, Kuskokwim River around McGrath and middle Yukon. High temperatures Friday afternoon. We'll get back up into the 40s, maybe flirt with 50 in a couple of spots here in the southern Panhandle. We're looking at daytime highs above freezing, mid-upper 30s, Anchorage up to Talkeetna, and going down along the Seward Peninsula, or I should say the Kenai Peninsula. Highs will be in the 30s with some lower 40s, and again, King Salmon, Kodiak City 41, near 40 as we trail out toward the eastern Aleutians there at Unalaska. And here's the temperature outlook to close out the month, February 25th through March 1st. We expect temperatures to average above normal across much of the state, but especially centered on areas along and south of the Alaska Range, including all of the Panhandle. So expect daytime highs to be above freezing. We could see some areas in through here with temperatures in the 40s, maybe an isolated 50-degree reading. There's no signs of any big storms to close out the month like that, but just this general southerly flow of mild, moist air going to bring that about. And then as we go into early March, so the 8 to 14-day outlook, February 27th through March 5th, that will expand a little bit further westward and northward, so pretty much along and south of the Yukon River, including all of south central, southeast Alaska. We're looking at above to nearing much above normal temperatures, so there could be, again, highs at times in the 40s, even a 50-degree reading. And here is the precipitation outlook. February 25th through March 1st, best chance of above normal precipitation along in south and southeast of the Alaska Range that encompasses Anchorage, Copper River Basin, back along Yakutat in through the Panhandle, with maybe a little below normal precipitation along the north slope there between the Beaufort Seacoast, Utqiagvik, and Kaktovik. And then by the time we get into early March, so February 27th through March 5th, the 8 to 14 day outlook paints a picture for the potential for precipitation to average above normal all across southern and western Alaska, from the Panhandle along the Gulf Coast, along and south of the Alaska Range, and then the southwest coast, interior, and then riding up along the west coast all the way through the Bering Strait, Seward Peninsula, on up to the Lisburn Peninsula. So the pattern is such that we're not seeing any really cold air. That has been actually pushed down into the lower 48, where they will likely see colder than normal temperatures, with an occasional bout of winter weather down in areas of the south and southeast U.S. all the way into early March.